listening to The Micro Effect. We didn't get here by chance. Our existence is no mistake. We got here because America needs what we provide, and that's information. Information that can be used in your daily lives. While we're waiting for others to wake up and realize that they too need the information we provide, your support is needed to keep us going 24 hours a day. This is no easy task we've burdened ourselves with, and we have created a network of those who will continue to keep you up to date with the current events and actions that people should be aware of. No one here gets a paycheck. Everyone here contributes their all and more. All we need is your support to keep going. So make it count by making a contribution to our efforts, and our promise is we'll make our effort count. You can't stop America when everyone is pulling together. TheMicroEffect.com. Call 888-747-1968. Make your contribution today at P.O. Box 164, Kamei, Idaho 83536, or on the web at www.themicroeffect.com.
Yes. Corporate USA. Hey, we've got this thing, actually. It's not Corporate USA I want to talk about. I want to talk about corporations real quick. They have this thing called metrics, and you use metrics to quantify decision-making criteria and so forth, and they ask everybody to give them metrics on what they've done and what they got and all this other stuff, and you use that to make decisions. Now, in our last break, or right before, we had Assemblyman Tim, God, I forgot his last name. That's terrible.
Donnelly.
Tim Donnelly, that's right. We were talking about which way this battle's going, right, and what's the important part, and wishing to have more people there rather than what's there. But I always see that metric is non-quantifiable because you can't define those people that are there. There may be 1,000 people there. There may be 999 people there, or 2,000. But the quality of the person is totally different. Now, I can parade voices in front of you guys all day long. And the ones that I'll parade are all in. I put it to you that those people are on the steps are all in too. Are you trying to break in on me there, John?
No.
Okay. So what do you think? Are the metrics straightforward? Is 1,000 people 1,000 people, or is it different?
Well, my belief on metrics is that if for every one person, you should be able to influence another dozen.
Okay.
So 1,000 will influence 12,000. That 12,000 will do another one. And you continue to prove that. If you look back on the American Revolution, the vast majority were Tories. They weren't for the independence of America. We're having somewhat of the same situation. Huh?
Yeah, I'd still argue your definition of your metrics, because you do have different individuals that exceed that number. Or you know, like yourself, you've influenced quite a few people. You've talked to an extreme number of people in 2 years all over Texas. So
True.
Does your metric account for individuals like you? And there's more individuals like you. You know, it seems to be, I'm being made aware of these people every day.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm just saying, if you look at what Reagan did when he was running his election, he sent out this video and this phonograph record that people would run the phonograph because they couldn't broadcast it over TV or anything like that as well as they could do it a phonograph. But it basically said, have your friends come over and have coffee with you and play this phonograph, which was basically his talks on what the country needed. We can do the same thing. If people may not want to get up and talk before a group, or may not want to go out and walk in the protest march or something like that, but they can certainly call in 10 or 12 of their neighbors and have coffee with them and tell them what's going on. There's so many sources of information. You have information on your website. I have information that I'm more than happy to email to anybody that wants it. You know?
Right, and how would people do that? I mean, you've got some severe gigs, right? Hundreds of gigs?
Yeah, 147 gigabytes of information, but key things that people ask for is basically what is Agenda 21. I have my own pamphlet that I created on that. And then what is the problem with smart meters? And I have several documents of that. But when somebody just emails me at jmarler@MARF as in Frank, AM.com, I'd be happy to respond with documentation and things that you can hand out to people. One of mine that seems to be getting around extremely well is one that says, Losing Your Freedoms in One Easy Lesson. And it is a PDF I can send people that they can reprint to their heart's content.
You know, I just realized that I forgot to say that we're open to taking callers. You know, we will have to step back on the callers while Heather calls in and during our little breaks where we bring the next people on. But if you guys have any questions for John Marler or myself, or just give us a call. The phone number is 888-747-1968. Once again, 888-747-1968. So, do you have a lot of people take you up on that their file transfer? Because, you know, when I first met you, you were at a Tea Party meeting, and you're like, I have over 200 gigabytes of data. Just give me a hard drive, and I'll copy it. Do you get a lot of takers?
Yes, a number of people have sent me an email saying they want to do that, and what I ask them to do is go out and get a portable hard drive that'll hold that much data, which is just about any hard drive you can buy now, and send it to me. I'll populate it and send it back to them. They just have to pay for the shipping back in both directions.
Interesting. You have a lot of the global warming documents, the list of the scientists that have signed on against global warming?
Absolutely. Things from like American Thinker that goes through and expresses point blank what the opposition to cap and trade really is. They see it as what I see it, as a Marxist attempt to redistribute the wealth of America to elsewhere. It's interesting that Mr. Gore is also one of the primaries in the carbon credit industry. And if that process goes into effect, can you imagine that, according to Obama, he's actually made a statement that he would like to have every ounce of carbon emission taxed. Now that literally means you and I, because you and I
for sure, that's our breath.
CO2. And they will start measuring or giving averages and saying, okay, John Marler's 6'5". He's, X number of pounds. He's such and such. He is producing this, and if they take in flatulence, they'll add that to it, and they will give me a number that I cannot exceed without paying a penalty for it. Well, picture a business. The coal industry, they've targeted. That's the whole purpose of cap and trade, is to kill the coal industry. There's 80,000 jobs today in the coal industry. They want them all out of business. They want them all out of work.
Yeah, I know. They're not trying to create jobs, but they always tell us that they're creating jobs. I guess this cap and trade thing in California has been sold to create jobs, but it taxes every business and individuals billions and billions of dollars.
No economist has made a statement about the California cap and trade that it will not do anything less than a 24% drop in employment. I don't think any state can suffer that.
You know, I still have a lot of friends that are living over there, and they're not doing too well. A lot of them have moved in with other people, and they're renting rooms now instead of, having their house that they had a adjustable rate mortgage with. And I went through a huge number of friends and family going through the foreclosure problems. I saw that really dominant in California. That was one of the driving factors as I was watching everybody around me lose their house. Texas, I think we're dealing with the same thing, but it feels like it's just coming around. But the mortgage industry is still another part of this whole plan, the Agenda 21, because they don't stand for private property.
No, they don't. The thing that I've been trying to map out, and I've been pretty successful in it, if you take into consideration the failures of the government, let's say the failures of the foreclosures, the failures to cover the, for example, the whole thing at Katrina was a failure of the Corps of Engineers to repair the levee system that had been needing severe repairs for 16 years. But what happens afterwards? If you look at the biodiversity assessment map of the United States, you see that there's a certain area around New Orleans that they do not want humans to live on. Well, guess what? There's no humans living on that space now, and it has been confiscated by the U.S. government through FEMA guarantees and then payoffs. The FEMA comes in, gives them a guaranteed credit line, and then the Corps of Engineers says, well, you're not going to be able to do anything on this property for 3 or 4 years because of all the problems with it, so why don't we just pay off your FEMA account and give you X number of thousands of dollars? And these guys are looking at it like a godsend. But what they're doing is they're giving away their property at almost, land office rush business. It's the same thing up in north.
Government.
When the floods went down through the north, why did we have the floods for the first time in many, 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 many years? They had taken down the dams that would have stopped that flood. They had removed them. And the same thing's happening there. The Corps of Engineers now has created the buffer zone around the Missouri and the Mississippi rivers that no humans will ever own again. And it's continuing. If you look at what's been required of the federal government since H.W., when he ordered every government agency to implement Agenda 21 protocols, which includes that biodiversity map, they're doing it. Wildlands Project, the Wetlands Project, the President's Council on Rural Sustainability, all of these groups are out to just put 85% of the landmass of America into a trust that cannot be violated with this sick human encampments.
So all these things that are happening, like what you were talking about in Louisiana, right. They're not doing it out of nefariousness. You always point me to the process of indoctrination. So they're just doing this because they feel it's the right thing to do, right? They're helping people by giving them some money. They're helping people by giving them some money to get them off the land that they wanted because they've been indoctrinated to say that those people have to leave that land because it's been classified wetlands. Is that correct?
In some areas, but that's even going on in Idaho where they've done that. There's a circumstance, they call them takes. The federal government calls them takes. And for example, we have a salamander called the Georgetown salamander. Now, anybody that knows anything about salamander knows that they lay encapsulated eggs. So when it's dry, we've had a horrible drought last year, and we're finally coming out of that. But when it was dry, the salamander count went down to endangered classification. Now that we've had our rains, we've got an abundance of salamander, but they're still called endangered. So they declare where a stream runs that for 1 mile on either side of that, you cannot do any development. Do you get compensated for that property? No. Do you still have to pay the taxes on that property? Yes. But it's called a take, and if you look again back to the biodiversity map, they're getting that range of space put into that bracket called reserve space.
You know, the American Planning Association, the APA, Well, I guess there's another APA too, but planning.org, they have a manual called Takings. And Takings is how planners that, plan for cities or indoctrinate, or the indoctrination team, they go out and they tell the city councils how to do this and how to do that. And they actually have a huge document, and they outline why they don't want to use eminent domain, and they don't want you to buy property off people because that could get too expensive. And, a lot of this stuff that they're doing is right in your face. Have you ever seen that APA document? Do you know the one I'm talking about?
To tell you how it's working here, if you have a housing tract that you want to put in the Georgetown city limits.
Oh, hey, let me cut you off. I got Heather here.
Is that Heather?
Let's bring her on. You there, Heather? Heather.
Oh, it's Debbie. Heather handed me the phone.
Oh, okay, Debbie. Well, how's your day going?
It's great. This is a super rally, so glad to be here.
Well, tell me what it's like there for you. You excited to get there?
I'm sorry?
You went to Rio, right?
I sure did.
I forget how to pronounce your last name.
It's Bacigalupi. My name's Debbie Bacigalupi, and I am running for U.S. House of Representatives for District 14, California's District 14.
Wow.
Right, John. I didn't get a chance to prep you here because Heather kind of said that she was going to try to find Deborah Bacigalupi. She actually went down to. I'll let you tell your story. You had some kind of they're trying to take away all your water. You ended up going to Rio plus 20 this year. We got about 15 minutes. Tell us about you, Debbie.
Great. Yeah, my parents are cattle ranchers in Northern California, and about 5 years ago we started noticing what we would describe as attacks from our own government. There were increased regulations on our property. There was this agenda to remove the Klamath River dams, which will be the largest dam removal not only in California but in history so far. These are perfect dams in perfect condition, and they're renewable energy, so they're clean, green energy, the cleanest energy that you can find. And the fact that our own government was working to remove these dams just had us thinking, okay, something's not right here. So other things about water, our own government was taking old law written, 50 plus years ago and trying to reinterpret it such that we didn't have control over our own water. In fact, we were in many, many meetings with even the California Department of Fish and Game, who told us that they wanted 80% of all water going out to sea. So in the whole global warming scheme, and they use the word scheme, they being the United Nations, by the way, groups like ICLEI, they use that exact term, scheme. So in this whole global warming scheme, if the seas are rising 1.4 meters, and the Department of Fish and Game wants 80% of all water going out to sea, and the United Nations declared March 22nd as World Water Day because we're running out of fresh, stored water, then why is there an agenda to remove vital dams, which is, billions of acres of acre-feet of fresh stored water that we use to drink from, recreate from, water our crops from. So the agenda, we believe, is something like 26,000 dams. You could look this up on American Rivers, their website. They are an environmental group who, along with Nature Conservancy, Prana, REI, Patagonia, who all have a goal to remove our dams in the United States, which brings us to Rio. So because I wanted to know, be in the belly of the beast, so to speak, and Heather was going to join us, and a lot of people from Eagle Forum were going to go down to Rio. In the end, I ended up going on my own, and not only did I learn that the United States is frowned upon by international groups, but that the United Nations is unwilling to consider hydroelectric dams as renewable energy, which to the Turkey delegates that I met at the Rio Earth Summit, they are completely shocked that the United Nations is not acknowledging the value and the importance to humans and to wildlife in the form of dams and stored water and lakes. So, and if you have a question for me, please jump in because I can keep going.
Debbie, at Rio 20, was there any comments about why the United States delegation no longer consisted of the ones that were going to go, like Secretary of State, the Secretary of the Interior, and so forth of the federal government? And they were no-shows. They had notified them ahead of time that they weren't going to be there, but prior to that, a year ago, they were listed as definite attendees. Was there any comments as to why the United States didn't show up in force?
No comments. Hillary supposedly did show. I did not get to see her, but I know that as a whole, the United Nations Sustainable Development Rio Plus 20 conference was disappointed that the United States did not have a better showing when it comes to government leaders. The Rio Plus 20, the leaders expected that the United States was going to show up, as with other major countries, with money. And what I have been telling Heather and many of the people I've been fighting against Agenda 21 with is that it's shocking. The international population knows exactly what Agenda 21 is, knows exactly who ICLEI is, and even laughed at me and said I was lying when I told them that most people in the United States have never heard of Agenda 21. Most people in the United States have no idea who ICLEI is. And did you already talk about ICLEI on this call?
We've had some conversations. I speak all over the state of Texas on the Agenda 21, New World Order, One World Religion issues that are being created and fostered and founded by the United Nations through our paychecks. But the thing that I found interesting is that all of a sudden no one decided to go, and I'm praying that the reason for that was the fact that people are becoming aware. But you're right. I think 85% of the United States doesn't have an inkling of what's going on with Agenda 21. No one knows that HW said that the Charter of the United Nations was a sacred document that we should pledge our allegiance to.
Right. Yes. And Nancy Pelosi, October 1992, on Capitol Hill, C-SPAN, you can watch her saying we need to, where she was urging Congress to usher in United Nations Agenda 21 Sustainable Development, in fact, that we should be the leader in the sustainable development movement. And I think, yes, go ahead.
So what's it like right now running for office with this understanding? How's your constituents or potential constituents taking this? It's really hard to... Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I live in and am running in the Bay Area, which is, an area district that is very liberal, and I am a conservative. I'm running against the very things that they think, or they've been misinformed. I'm not saying that they're unintelligent or anything like that, because they're actually very intelligent people. We just haven't, our media has been shielding us of things that international governments have been informing their populations about, which is Agenda 21 and the International Council on Local Environmental Initiatives, which is the local groups that have been implementing the United Nations Agenda 21 blueprint. So my district has been shielded, and if my district knew what was coming their way in these this agenda, the scheme as they use, the government and the United Nations use in their own terms, even as ICLEI, which they consider themselves the local government authority, It's the One Bay Area Plan, the Grand Boulevard Initiative, the vehicle mile travel tax, the stack and pack housing. If my constituents knew of these plans, I think I would win in a heartbeat. I think they would say, and this would go across the board for most of our local, state, national representatives. They're not representing us anymore. They're not informing us of all these things, including what's in I like to call it the unaffordable health care tax. They're not telling us that dams are being removed across our nation. They're not telling us that we are going to have a vehicle mile tax and have a GPS box put in our cars. They're not telling us that the California Department of Fish and Game today, right now, is trying to get themselves passed as Cal Wild, where they have their own courts, their own peers, and you and I will be guilty for harming species that they declare as wild, and they get to make up jurisdiction along the way. This is going to damage our farmers and ranchers across the board here in California. So there's just all these things that are just being, for California is under attack, and I know we are across the United States, but we Californians just are seeing so much coming at us that if constituents even knew, if they were well informed, we would win without question.
What are you doing
I agree
to get
with
the
you
word
on
out?
that. The attack is right there. It's blatant and opened, and of course, Agenda 21 was the roadmap. But there are a lot of people that just don't want to accept a lot of the facts. The indoctrination goes really deep. Which particular part of the Bay Area are you running for?
It's South San Francisco, over to Pacifica, Half Moon Bay, Pescadero, across to Redwood City, San Mateo, most of San Mateo County, Foster City, Hillsborough. So just a very diverse from agriculture to urban, to rural to urban area.
Oh, wow. That's going to be incredible. Do you have an incumbent you're going up against?
I am. Her name is Jackie Spear, and she is
Congressman Ryan's former assistant?
Sorry?
Congressman Ryan's former assistant?
Yes, exactly. That's who I'm running against, and I'd say she's one of the 3 E's to unsustainability, which is an entrenched elected elite who will be shielded from all these, many of these, including Obamacare, many of these issues that they seem to be happy to vote for, and while voting against our freedoms and our liberty.
How can somebody support you? We are going to be heading on break pretty quick here.
Great.
How do they get in touch?
Yes. Thanks for asking. Our website is www.debbieforcongress.org, www.debbieforcongress.org, and the phone number is 650-454-5318.
Okay. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure.
Am I hearing the music? I guess not. You still there, John?
Yeah, are we on break right now?
No, but we're going. I just heard the music.
Okay. That's 6 minutes?
It's 6 minutes.
Okay.
Enjoy. We'll be right back.
Right.
Ronnie McMullen here for Life Change Tea. It's officially the new year, and the New Year resolutions should be going into effect. In the order of importance, health should be at the top of the list. We invest in how we look, and we invest in what we drive. And so why not invest in who you are and how you feel? Insecurity can manifest from a poor self-image. Life Change Tea is here to help cleanse your body, receive more energy, and start promoting your body to a new you. Physical health promotes mental health. Read the numerous testimonies on our helpful website. Are you ready to change? Are you ready to order? Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or you can call us at 928-308-0408. Here it is again, 928-308-0408. There's no waiting. Call now. It's your life. Give yourself something special. Good health. Life Change Tea at getthetea.com.
Do you have the food that will nourish your family through a disaster? Probably not. Round out your long-term food storage needs with the finest name in the business, the Freeze-Dry Guy. Freeze-dried foods preserve all of the freshness, color, flavor, and aroma that you want in your food, while giving you the peace of mind of knowing that nourishment is there when you need it. From main course entrees, breakfast foods, meats, vegetables, desserts, and snacks, the Freeze-Dry Guy carries a wide variety of meal options that will suit your dietary needs and can be stored for decades. Serving the U.S. military and the private sector for almost 40 years, find out why the Freeze-Dry Guy is the best you can buy. Give him a call at 530-265-8333. That's 530-265-8333. Or visit them online at www.freezedryguy.com. Tell them you heard about it on the Micro Effect. The Freeze-Dry Guy!
The people who had the spirit of Antichrist, they are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, naturally. And the world heareth them because it recognizes its own language. But we are of God. He that knoweth God heareth us.
These are the words of 20th century prophet A.W. Tozer. He is the author of over 40 books that you aren't likely to find at your local Christian bookseller. So where can you go to find such inspiration? Introducing Cornerstone Books, with the largest selection available of the writings of A.W. Tozer, Amy Carmichael, Richard Wurmbrand, and countless others. Cornerstone Books makes the truth available worldwide with the detail and personality of a local bookseller. Visit the website at www.cornerstone-unlimited.com for a complete inventory of its authors, as well as audio files and much, much more. That's www.cornerstone-unlimited.com. Or you can call toll-free at 888-239-9890. That's 888-239-9890.
Regardless of the dollar price involved, 1 ounce of gold would purchase a good quality man's suit at the conclusion of the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, the presidency of Franklin Roosevelt, and today. You may not be in the market for a new suit, but you don't know what the future may bring. And gold is the one financial constant the world has ever known. It can always provide you with your basic needs. Whether you're looking for junk silver, old silver dollar rolls, gold bullion, or fractional tradable gold pieces, Kettle Moraine is your full-service representative with over 50 years of knowledge and personal experience. Visit FlyingEagleGold.com or call us at 623-327-1778 today for competitive prices on all your gold or silver needs. If you're looking for real financial insurance, call Kettle Moraine today at 623-327-1778. That's Kettle Moraine, 623-327-1778.
Greetings, my friend. We are all interested in the future, for that is where you and I are going to spend the rest of our lives. And remember, my friend, future events such as these will affect you in the future.
We're listening to the Micro Effect Radio Network, broadcasting live and worldwide from a windowless bunker inside a mountain near an undisclosed location in the rural Wild West of the occupied states of America. Learn more about the Micro Effect at themicroeffect.com. That's THEMICROEFFECT.com.
Okay, I get to bring down the music. So, wow, so I didn't tell you about that one, John. How did you like Debbie?
That I am so encouraged by who I'm hearing, but going up against Spear, she's got enormous funds going against her. So anybody listening to this broadcast should get on her website and donate as much as they can to her, because she needs every dollar to fight that kind of tremendous progressive liberalism that Miss Spear represents.
Yeah, it's crazy. I never knew it went that far up the chain. I'm used to dealing with people like you and me that just do as much as we can everywhere we can. But, man, that was encouraging. That was. What was her website? DebbieForCongress.org? Yeah, I believe so. Okay, well, we've got
or the word for, but whatever it is, people should go there. She also gave us a phone number, didn't she?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to definitely get a hold of her again, and we'll see if we can do something else. So, where did we just leave off there, John? What's important to talk about right now?
Well, what can people do, I think, is what I'd like to, I think is an important part of this. Supporting politicians with your fund. Let's not do that. Let's say, like Tim was saying, they're not politicians, they're citizen representatives. If you really believe in the Constitution, you need to pledge your funds, your wealth, your fortune, just as our founding fathers did, and get these people elected and percolate them up to the top. I mean, it just amazes me how you read about George Soros writing a check to a candidate, not to a candidate, but to a political party for $130 million. And we go to a Tea Party rally, and we're selling bumper stickers for $5 and things like that. Not to diminish that, but we need to start writing checks to our candidates and working, get on the phone banks and spend time and make sure that you do everything in your power to get your representative elected and fight this from inside while we're doing our rallies and so forth. Had a politician running for one of our state House of Representatives talking to me the other day, and he said, I put out a call to XYZ Patriot Group and told them I needed them to show up at this meeting that night in order to have a show of strength, and we could knock down this proposed law. And he was told, well, we can't do that. We're having our meeting today.
What?
Yeah, something's wrong if we're more involved in our meetings than we are in the actual confrontation with government bodies.
Huh. I don't believe that. That's crazy.
It is. And I keep pointing to, talking about it and so forth, we need to be very much aware that talking is a good way to educate, but until you put it to your shoe leather, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I guess I get you on that front, but, quite frankly, money is not something that me or most of my listeners have. We go through money. I throw all my money into this game, and that's fine. I'm all for that. And so supporting liberty candidates, and it seems like Debbie's one of them. She knows and publicly speaks about some of the very real and present dangers that we're going through. But I know there's other ways to be involved. Heather was talking about her tactic last week, where she uses people from, let's say, I believe, like Tea Parties, to stop consensus building programs. So as they're going in trying to take away somebody's house, they bring in consensus-making people, people like the American Planning Association, and Heather Goss, the one that has pretty much facilitated this entire show. She will sit there and bring a bunch of people, disparate people that have never met each other, and she doesn't grab them only from the Tea Party. But if there's a initiative going on, she brings them to a area beforehand and says, here's what you're going to expect as they try to push this through. We all sit in a different area of the room, and you object to this, and she actually documents, consensus breaking techniques. So she's kind of like one of those facilitator types. And then you, of course, there's the herald, for the lack of a better term, or educator. John, you go out and you talk to everybody, and they try to collect money for you sometimes too. But you stand on your own 2 feet and say, no, I'm paying for this myself. I don't have any purse strings. There's all sorts of things you can do out there. And I probably could come up with a whole bunch of other ones. Are those as important as giving money? I mean, I understand what you're saying about giving money, and maybe I'm kind of just don't have any, so I can't. So I want to find other avenues.
I've always pointed out to when I'm teaching a class in a church on apologetics, I try to make it a point that tithing is not just funds. If you do not have the funds, God knows that. You tithe your talent, your time, and your money. If you can't do $5 or $20 to a candidate, spend an hour on a phone and calling people and saying, you need to vote for this guy, you need to vote for this woman, you need to, and here's why. The phone banks are extremely effective if they're your neighbors. You get these automated calls, and like most people, you hang up before you even listen to the first 2 words. But when it's somebody saying, hi, I'm your neighbor down the street, and I'm calling you on behalf of, and I wanted to tell you why I'm voting for Debbie Bacigalupi. It means so much to do that. Talent. I had a woman on my campaign that she is so a introvert that she couldn't get on a phone with somebody. She didn't have any money, but she had the skills to design my mailers. And I put out mailers that would have cost 5 or 6 times more than they did because of her talent. So there are ways to help a candidate. I've seen guys like, there's a guy here in Texas that he'll create a website that is so professional for a candidate that it just knocks your socks off. The candidate can go in there and say, this is what I'm doing, this is where I've been, this is, it's like a Twitter account, but everything he does is sent into the website so you know exactly where he's at. That's a talent that he's not charging the candidate he supports and so forth. But the grassroots operation can take this country back, but it has to be literally everybody doing their part, whatever that is.
And we just got to find our part.
Yeah. And it's available. There's no such thing as a book you can go get that tells you how to swim. You've got to jump in the water and do something. You've got to try something. If you haven't ever been involved in politics, I can all but guarantee you on a 50-50 chance that your precinct doesn't have a precinct chairman. Here in Texas, we have well over 50% of our precinct chairs are not filled. All you have to do is put your name in it, you're elected to it, and now you're a precinct chair, meaning that you are in charge for that party to go out and try to convince that group to stay with you, to move with you, and to operate in a singular mindset to root out the liberalism that's creeping in. Even the Democrats have a Democrats Against Agenda 21.
Hey, John, we've got a caller from Arkansas.
Oh, wonderful.
But we're also running into our next call-in segment, which would be Shawn Allen. Let's go ahead and bring Doug on, and then we'll just bow to the side for Shawn. Maybe we'll hold Doug over if he wants. Hey, Doug, are you on the line?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Great.
Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm enjoying it. Yeah, this kind of goes back to the last half hour or so about the carbon tax, and of course, which all rolls into Agenda 21. But one of the things I've become aware of in looking into this for a long time is that the carbon tax, basically in Agenda 21, you have a ruling body, which is a non-living entity ruling over living entities' lives, and the base on the carbon tax, actually the limit on it is below what an individual man, woman, or child exhales in order to live. So they've lowered this amount to be such where just breathing and living is below the limit that you would be able to live, to breathe in air and exhale. So what this really means is once this thing is fully eliminated under whatever you want to call this law or whatever, they could arbitrarily just say, well, you're using too much carbon, and of course, you know, the system is where you can pay, so that if you use more than what they allow, you get to live. And those that can't afford to pay, they don't get to live.
Well, it's definitely the logical conclusion, and I do agree with you that they will first start charging you for every breath you take, and then they're going to scale it back. And you know, they will have a breath bank, and everybody will have an allotment of how many breaths, or it'll be some kind of a number. Do you see out in Arkansas? Do you see more people actually being aware of the situation that we're in?
No, not really. I mean, within my family, I mean, we're aware of this kind of thing, but as a whole, I mean, we're in the area of Walmart headquarters and Tyson headquarters, George's Chicken headquarters. So
your family, though, they're actually aware of this issue.
Oh yeah, but
wow,
but
that's good.
Yeah, but not really where people realize that this hammer that could be dropped at any time would be devastating to them. I mean, this is Bill Clinton country. This is you know. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up because the carbon footprint and all that stuff, they've already decided, and I've listened to a few years of one show that was on the Micro Effect where they talked about the carbon footprint and how even machines and computers could be used to shut off air, to change air.
Hey, Doug, I'm going to have to cut you off real quick. I've got Shawn Allen on the line. Thanks man. I really appreciate the call.
Thank you, Doug. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Hey, Shawn, are you on the line? I don't think we're connected yet. We might have lost that one. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, we're going to have to reconnect.
This is Shawn, Sinister?
Hey, do you want to elaborate to Doug's point about taxing us for every breath, they take?
Well, the very fact that carbon is the nastiness that the environmentalists say is killing everything, they want to reduce that. Now, one of the things that they want to do is they literally, I think I expressed this in one of their previous segments, John Marler is 6'5", he weighs X number of pounds. He will expel in a normal day X number of pounds of carbon, and they will tax me on that. I get into my car, and they will tax me not only on the per mile that I drive, but they will tax me on the emissions of that car. When I go into my office and turn on the air conditioner, I will be creating carbon, according to them. And I will have X number of amount that I will be permitted. And the key to this is what Obama said. It will be ratcheted down every year. So every year, my allowable credit, so to speak, will be X number. Let's say I'm 6 foot, I weigh 200 and some odd pounds. I immediately have a 280-pound credit, carbon credit. As I use this and I exceed that 280, immediately they come back and say, "Okay, you've exceeded that. You now have to pay X number of dollars." Next year, I will not be given 280 credits. I will be given 200 credits, and down and down and down, and it will destroy things. Here's an example: a ton of concrete creates a ton of carbon emissions.
What?
Yeah. According to their standards.
Go ahead.
According to their standards, it does that. So guess what's going to happen to your housing and to your construction industry?
Yeah. It'll go the way of the dinosaur. Okay, we got somebody on the line. Hey, is Shawn Allen?
Yes, from Sons of Liberty Riders.
Oh, awesome, man. Sorry, we had that little disconnect area. Hey, so we got Shawn Allen from the Sons of Liberty Riders. Hey, welcome to the show.
Right on. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
So let me just start with this, and then we'll get going. So why do you guys care so much about this? Can you tell me? Why is it so important?
Well, it's like this. We feel that if somebody doesn't stand up and represent the Constitution before it's completely gone, this country is going to be taken over by socialism, and it's starting to go down the way of communism. We really don't want that. We started to try and stop the left from taking over and doing this. We believe that we need to keep our Second Amendment, because if we lose the Second Amendment, we lose our First Amendment.
Right, definitely. So you're a biker group, or there's the Sons of Liberty, right? And you're the Sons of Liberty Riders. I don't know much about your organization. Can you tell me a little bit about you?
Yeah, Sons of Liberty Riders was formed to defend the Constitution of the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. We're a nonviolent, law-abiding gathering of like-minded patriots. We stand against any acts of violence or illegal activity. We do not endorse or tolerate radical, extreme, violent, or racial postings. Basically, we're a peaceful movement. We want to try to take this from the legal angle in a nonviolent way, because violence just brings on more violence.
I hear you. So you guys, you assembled a whole bunch of people and are actually rode out there to the Capitol. How many riders did you end up pulling?
We had 11 bikes.
Yeah,
so
nice.
we had a pretty good showing. When we were doing the circle in front of the west steps of the Capitol building, I looked back and we were perfectly spaced. We completely filled the whole area, and it was just almost brings a tear to your eye to be a part of something like this and to be such a big part of it. I mean, it was wonderful.
Yeah, I've always enjoyed coming together where you've got all those disparate groups, people in suits and people in clothing. Yeah. It's rather. So, have you listened to some of the speakers? Have you bumped into Debbie Barna? What was her name, John?
Bacigalupi.
Have you seen Debbie Bacigalupi yet?
I've seen a lot of people. I probably don't remember my name. We've bumped into a lot of people. We were interviewed by a couple of Tea Party members with the camera and the mic. They were very friendly. We've heard a lot of the speakers. Very energetic. Everything here is stuff that we stand for, and we believe that all American patriots stand for I should say, against what we're fighting against here.
Shawn, what would you guess the number of people to that right now?
What's that?
What would you guess the number of people in the total Capitol march?
I'd say I'm looking out there a couple hundred at least.
Okay.
It looks like a pretty good number. I think there was more earlier. The crowd's starting to dwindle a little bit.
Yeah, we are. Oh, it's actually. Did it end yet, or it's the 2 o'clock? That's a 2 o'clock. It was a 2 o'clock event, and it was canceled. The dry run was canceled by the government itself, and so the protest went on, and the protest is ending in a few minutes. So there's a lady there. Her name is Debbie Bacigalupe, and if you see Heather Goss right around there, ask her to point her out. You might want to talk to her. She's a real interesting lady, and she's running for Congress. I mean, so it's somebody that talks like a human, and they're running for office. So if you don't know her, you're right. Your boots on the ground. It should be really neat.
Very rare to have somebody running for office who has a soul.
Absolutely.
Tell me about it. It's crazy.
But in just the few hours that we've been doing this, we've talked to an assemblywoman and an assemblyman for California, and you couldn't get a better citizen representative than those two people. And hopefully we can start doing this on a percolation up basis. You know, if we can wipe out our city councils of their liberalism and their county and then the state, it'll all percolate up to be a capture of the constitutional design by our founding fathers.
Well, the founding fathers set up this country with the Constitution for a reason. The reason was that Constitution was meant to keep the government in check, not to be used as a tool to keep the people in check.
Shawn, I'm sorry. We just hit the music. Appreciate it, man. Maybe we can talk again later some other time. John, everybody, hang on. We're coming around to the other hour.
All right. Thank you very much.
Now you can feel that squeaky clean sensation like none other with Vitamer toothpaste and mouthwash. Vitamer toothpaste and mouthwash is a unique natural formula not found in any other oral care products. With a gentle combination of zinc, folic acid, myrrh, and clove oil, Vitamer effectively whitens teeth, removes plaque, and freshens breath, and it does it naturally without any harmful chemicals. Visit us online at Vitamer.com. That's VITAMYR.com. Or call us today to place your order at 1-888-558-8482. That's 1-888-558-8482. Keep your teeth and gums healthy with Vitamer toothpaste and mouthwash. Vitamer, nature's answer to healthy teeth and gums. And remember, it's all completely natural. Available at participating health food stores nationwide.
Introducing the new Go Berkey Kit, a first-of-its-kind, personal, practical, and portable water purification system for those on the go. As you know, we discontinued the Mini Berkey with ceramic elements several years ago because the output of the filtered water was a meager pint per hour. The new Go Berkey system has an amazing output of about a gallon an hour. Each Go Berkey kit includes a 1-quart high-quality 304 stainless steel system, complete with a black Berkey purification element, a generic sport water bottle, and a nylon carrying case. The whole kit weighs a mere 2.4 pounds. With an expected element life of around 3,000 gallons, you can refill the Go Berkey system up to an incredible 12,000 times before needing to replace the element. The new Go Berkey kit is perfect for backpacking, hiking, emergency packs, bug-out bags, international travel, car emergency kits, your desk at work, and much more. Get your Go Berkey kit today by calling 888-803-4438. That's 888-803-4438. Or visit us on the web at berkeywater.com. Sorry, not yet available in Iowa.
Silver has long been used throughout history as a way to disinfect and prolong the freshness of water and food, as well as utilized for its beneficial healing and anti-disease properties. From the Greeks, the Romans, and the Phoenicians to the Middle Ages, from the first settlers in America to its preventative use against infection during World War I, silver was always known for its health benefits. Hippocrates wrote extensively about the healing power of silver, and in the 1920s, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved the use of silver solutions as antibacterial agents. So what happened? Why aren't you hearing about silver these days? For those seeking an alternative to the big pharma products and their side effects, International Health has what you've been looking for. Super Silver is an engineered silver nanoparticle solution created using the unique and patented silver technology process of International Health's biotech labs. Hundreds of university and government level tests have been done.